100 years ago today, 7 skiffs presented to the starter for the first 16-foot skiff race on Belmont Bay. It's hard to imagine that our intrepid forefathers could conceive what would grow from those first steps. George Johnson was the foundation treasurer and raced on that day in 1922.
How the club actually started was, we came out to Belmont in about 1915 from town. And my father had sailed in Sydney Harbour before the turn of the century in 24s and 22s. So when we came out to the lake to live, the first thing he thought about, of course, was a boat. He couldn't do much around the lake for a boat. And the next thing the young man wanted to do, he wanted to sail. So we made the spars ourselves. We had a clothing factory in Derby Street. We made all the sails in the factory, and we used to sail up and down the bay. The next thing we know, a couple of others came to light. The cove turned out to be the foundation secretary, Smith, and Albert Menzies. So what we used to do, this would be about 1920, I suppose. On a Saturday afternoon, we'd sail up and down the bay. No centreboards, just only pulling boats. Any bit of sail you could lay your hands on. And from that started the club. Well, the old man must have approached Mark Reed. He always had his eye on somebody to really kick the place off, And he thought Mark would be the right man. And then, of course, they had to turn around then and they had the idea of building a clubhouse and had to raise money for it. They ran functions and all that sort of thing, but most of the money came from the Belmont pub. A cove named Al Jewell owned it. Well, his daughter was the barmaid. And she raised quite a bit of money there, and they got enough money to buy the material. It was all built by voluntary labour, just as a shed for the boats, with a flat roof and rail round on the flat, and the officials used to get up on the roof. You could get up on the roof, but they started from the boat out in the water. But the moment we had the idea of forming a club, Geordie Menzies built a boat, Alec Young built a boat, Smithy bought a boat, Spendthrift bought a boat from Toronto, Pippi. There was a boat, Newcastle. She was a deering boat. Another cove who built his own boat was Humphreys, Tommy Humphreys, A&Es. And Mark Reed bought Arlene. Arlene was a Phillips. But Fennell had started building boats, and he built this Pippi. God's truth, he got no bloody idea what that thing was like. You couldn't jibe her. Spen got fed up with that boat, and he bought Camp Cove. Now that boat was one of the best skiffs that was ever built.
George Johnson there, recorded in 1983. 25 years after its formation, the club had its first homegrown representative champion when Boyd Humphreys skippered the A&Es to a win in the New South Wales Championship and made the national newsreels.